Hello, everyone. It is the Monday on lunch therapy, the time that we really get ourselves together. Joel has not gotten himself together, I guess, because I am here, and I am the Bat. I don't know if, maybe some of you new viewers don't know me because it's been a little while since I've been on. Joel had me on for his 100th episode. I wished him a very, very happy 100th episode, and then nothing. The phone doesn't ring. I don't know. And I'm thinking, is he my friend anymore? Has he done away with bats? Has he moved on to some other kind of flying rodent? I don't know. But I've been, watching the show, trying to keep up on it. And so I'm ready. I'm ready. When I got the call, I wasn't just hanging around, no. And I got some sleep in the middle of the night. So today I am just energized, even though for me, I'm normally sleeping at this time. It's not lunch therapy at all, it's sleep therapy. So for those of you who have never seen the show before, you're probably very confused. You're like, is this a show about a bat in space? What the hell is this thing? What is lunch therapy? And can I eat lunch during it? But of course you can. Of course you can. Let's see. So there's some people here. Holy bat. Or guru. And there's someone here saying bat. I love the bat. Yes, I have, a lot of Instagram followers. And so follow me at the bat. Well, I don't really know. I don't. I use Sonar. So send out some, screams. And I will hear them because I have very, very sensitive ears. So lunch therapy, we just, we have fun. This is about having fun and being weird and just doing some fun stuff. So let go of your weird expectations about the world and how the world should be and how horrible it is and whether species spread disease and feces. Just let that go. We are going to talk a little bit about that because there have been some accusations about bats and some other animals. So we will talk about that a little bit, but other than that, just let it go. Let it go. Shake it off. All right, let's get into lunch therapy on a Monday, a rockin' Monday in a purple space. Hey, Guy Fly, how is your eye? I am, don't adjust your television sets or your phones or whatever because I tend to be hanging from the ceiling. So if you're confused, you're like, turning it around, the orientation is all off, don't worry about it because this is the way it's supposed to be. Let's see what Ganel says. Ganel says, do bats cause pandemics? Well, no. And that has been proven that the bats do not cause the pandemics, and lately they have moved on to something else. And we'll talk about that in a moment because I need to defend the animals out there. Because you're humans, you don't care about animals. You eat them, and this is, this show today is about should I be a vegetarian? And Joel will be here later on in the show when he gets up or whatever he does. I don't know what he's doing. But when he gets up, I'm going to have him in the Pandit Comedy Club telling you, should I be a vegetarian? But for now, I own the show. And I know how the show goes. The show goes this way. We take in 3 breaths, one at a time. And after each breath, we let them out. We let them out. We do not hold on to them for too long, just long enough to fill our bodies with oxygen. So here we go. In through the nose and out through the claws. Hold it. Hold it. And let it go. Oh, yes. I feel much better now. This does seem sort of batty, doesn't it? And I like it that way. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. This is a very good point you make. We'll be making more points like this. My background is the YouTube, Kyler Boone's Nomadic Ambiance. He gave me the permission to show this while we breathe because he is a very loving human, not like some of you out there. Some of you out there are waiting for the punchline. Why do bats? Right, let's come up with a punchline since this is a comedy show. Why do bats cause pandemics? But they don't. Bats do not. Humans do. So one more. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. I am going to be taking questions from the audience. I've got a few here. If you have some, you can ask me. People have been writing in, asking questions of the bat. And I've been holding on to them for when I'm on the show. So I'm going to do another breath because I lost count. So in through the nose, out through the claws. Hold it. And let it go. Trash pandemics. Trash pandemics. I like that one. Trash pandemics. I'm not a big fan of the trash pandas, the raccoons, but they're all right. I never dated one, I'll tell you that. Maybe the Creator gave humans sight, and bats are blind as themselves. That is very deep, very, very deep. So was it the trash pandas? No? I don't think so. So let me just tell you about what's going to happen this week on Lunch Therapy. I just wanted to, give you a heads up. We are going to be having some people on the show. On Wednesday, we are going to have none other than this man, whose name is Bennett Jones. Bennett Jones did the movie I Am a Knife with Legs. I don't know, if you haven't seen that movie, you might want to check it out. It's a very bizarre romp through Hollywood with a guy with some colorful pants, and it's very fun. I invite you to check that out, but you will check him out on Wednesday. He will be on here telling crazy stories, being a crazy person that he is. And then following that, we will do this. Oh, what is that? A little preview. We will also, I don't know how to work this. We also have this fellow, Jason Stewart, who is on the show Smothered, which you can see on Amazon. He and Mitch Hara, very funny show, very funny guy, both of them funny. And Jason will be on the show doing some wacky shenanigans. Okay, so now, I've given it away already. Yes, someone has noticed that there was a picture of a pangolin. So we're talking about pangolins. And I want to show you what a pangolin is for those of you who don't know. I flashed it on the screen there. This is a pangolin. They are very, very wonderful creatures. They are the only mammals that have scales. They have scales all over their bodies except on their stomachs. They're very vulnerable stomachs. They also are endangered. They are endangered because they are the most trafficked animal in the entire world. Humans illegally traffic these animals all over the world. And why? Why do they? Well, I'll tell you. Because they think that the scales are medicine for humans. And they say, you don't need those scales, I need them because they think they cure cancer, they think they cure lung problems. They even think that they cure wild screaming in the night. Wild screaming in the night. And I don't actually consider that a problem. People screaming hysterically in the night. Hysterically. I like that. So let's get on with it. So this is for the next thing I'm going to do. Let's see. This is wonderful. This is a wonderful, wonderful show. And I wanted to tell you that one time, I dated a pangolin. Yes, I dated a pangolin. Her name was Lucy. She was a wonderful pangolin. She had wonderful scales, but the only thing that was not so good about the relationship is that you know how pangolins mate? Pangolins, the woman goes away, and she gets in her little bunker, and she waits for a smell. And so the male pangolin, he has to crap and pee in his area, right there where he is, and then he just sits in it and waits. He waits there for a moment, and then the female pangolin comes along and finds him by the smell. Yeah, it's disgusting. So I'm dating Lucy the pangolin, and she's expecting me to pee and crap and shit, and so she can get all excited. And it's horrible. So, I mean, you humans, you have your pee tapes and things like that, so you might not think that that's so gross, but I just couldn't hang with it. That's bad humor. I couldn't hang with it. It sounds a little like the foreplay in the Lee household. Sounds like... I like the chat room. They got all the jokes. All the funny comes out of the chat room on this show. Okay, let's get out of the nomadic ambiance and take a look at some pangolins, because this guy, he's holding a pangolin, and this is something, it is called Pangolin Has the Longest Tongue. And it's by this Lucy Witz. She's got the husband here with the pangolin. He looks a little like a better-looking John C. Reilly or something. There he is with the pangolin. The pangolin has the very long tongue. And that was the thing. Oh, her name is Lucy too. And then there's this guy. He has a pangolin, and he wears it as a hat. Yeah, because that guy actually helps pangolins because they're trafficked so much. And here's another lovely pangolin. There you see the tongue. That kind of freaked me out too, when Lucy would do that with her tongue. Yeah, it isn't the sexiest thing in the world, I'll tell you. So they also have long claws, you can see. And they walk on their hind legs a lot. And humans find this hilarious. They just think this is the funniest thing to see them walking on their hind legs. It's just a joke to them, some kind of joke. But it's not funny because the pangolins are dying. So now they're blaming the pangolins on the pandemic. What is that? Why would they do this? And they've actually done some testing and looking around. They thought that, maybe because people like to eat pangolin meat as a delicacy, they're like, oh, the pangolins, all the pangolins' fault. Or maybe it's the humans' fault for eating the pangolin meat. I don't know. Hard to tell, right? I think it is the humans' fault. But actually, when they find out, they do their testing, they look at what's happening with the pandemic, and they find out that it's not pangolins at all. I mean, I could have told them that. Okay, one more thing about the pangolins is, why do they have the scales, you ask? Why? What are they so scared of that they have scales? Well, I'll show you. Because lions and other animals like to eat them. Why is their tongue so long? You know why? Because they're like anteaters. They eat a lot of ants. And you cannot eat ants unless you have a very long tongue, I'll tell you that. Long tongue is for post-rolling and poop and getting busy. So there is the lions. Though, you think, oh, this is going to be some terrible tragedy because the pangolin, it just has the scales, and he has claws, but not like the lion. And you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? And the lion's like, I thought there was an animal here, but there's just this weird scaly basketball. And the question is, are they going to eat the pangolin? And this kind of show, we never show that kind of thing. So you know that the pangolin is going to walk away. Totally fine. I don't want to ruin it for you, but I will get to the end of it. They're still trying to eat it. Still trying. And at the end, I've seen this one before, the pangolin walks away. Are they in the family of armadillos? They're very much like armadillos, but I do not think they are in the same family. No. All right, let's move on with the show. I did want to show you something else here that I really like. And it is a friend of mine. He is in Australia. He has a bird. He's a falcon. He lives on a shelf, on a cliff, or in a building. And he is just a crazy little bird. And he has his own camera and has his own show. So I wanted to show you a little bit about it. It's in Melbourne. He's a falcon. Melbourne CBD falcons. I don't know. Maybe he does CBD. He might be doing a lot of that. If you're doing CBD or THC, you might want to tune into his channel and just take a look, because it's endlessly fascinating for people whose minds are slowed down to such a state that they can't even breathe. You can just stand here with your mouth hanging open and look at the bird and go, oh, look at that, living on a shelf somewhere in Melbourne, Australia. Another thing I wanted to show you, because I know Joel likes to calm people down a lot. So this is something that I find very, very calming. It is the day after Christmas. It is a train. It is in the snow. I love trains in the snow. Let me see if I can get the sound for this, because you might like it very much. It's a Christmas thing. But, it really doesn't have any religion or anything like that. You can watch it. You can watch it in the fall. You can watch it in the summer. You can watch it whenever you want, because it's not live. I want to show you the train. It's a steam engine. And the steam engines are quite beautiful. There you go. You can watch this anytime you want. Anytime at all. Here comes John Voight. I don't know what it is about this show. They're very into trains. And, maybe watching the movie Silver Streak might be good, or watching the movie Runaway Train, as Todd says. All right, so now I'm going to take some questions. I've got some written questions sent in from the audience. Let me see here. Dear the Bat, where did you grow up? This is from George Marshall in Shoreline. I have a weird accent that changes all the time. It's always changing. Sometimes it's British. Sometimes I sound like Joe Fury. And that's because I was born all over. Because my father, he was in the military. Yes. I was an army bat. That's a little bat joke there for you. I was an army bat. Oh, I love that one. Thank you very much, George, for that question. The next question is, why do you sleep upside down? Why do you sleep upside down? That's a very good question. But I pose the question back to you. Do I sleep upside down, or do I sleep right side up? I sleep with my claws hanging from the ceiling of the cave. How do you sleep? Do you sleep with your neck hanging from the ceiling of the cave? I don't think so. So who's sleeping upside down? I'm sleeping right side up. The right side is the claws. You sleep, I should ask you, just like the hummingbird, exactly. The hummingbird and I, we sleep the proper way. And you know what? We got a lot more blood to our brains this way. So we are much more intelligent than you people who sleep. Actually, you sleep sideways. My question to you is, why do you sleep sideways? That's my big question. Bat lost his glove. You know, I lost the glove because I cannot do any of the stuff that Joel does with all the technology and all that with the glove on. It just can't be done. I tried to do it, but I cannot do it. One more question. Do you suck people's blood? And when you say people, I assume you're talking about humans. Do I swoop down and suck their blood in the middle of the night like I'm some kind of vampire? The answer is yes sometimes, but most of the time, no. I am not, Dracula. That is a mythology of the humans. I am not stupid. I'm not stupid. Because if I came down and I sucked your blood, I'd be sucking up, it'd be like eating horrible junk food. Like I'd be eating all the sugars and all the McDonald's and all the chicken nuggets and all the crappy things that you eat. You humans are like, you're like a garbage pail. No. So I do not drink your blood. Thank you very much for that, for those questions. So is everybody clear now? No pangolins. Pangolins are good. Pangolins are very nice. And if anybody else has any questions for the bat, I am now going to hand over the show. I have been doing such a good job here, and I don't know, I probably should continue, but I'm going to hand over the show to Joel. He has a little, because I guess he wants to tell you some crap. But here he is. We're going to go into the Trash Panda Comedy Club. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joel Marshall. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was great. So good to see the bat. Wow. I'm just so grateful to have the bat to, as a creative partner, because he's really, he really does his homework about those pangolins. Who's here? Oh, yeah. I see Ganel was here. Kamala Mulva. It's great to see everybody here in the Trash Panda Comedy Club. Let's get a round of applause for the bat. Very nice work. Very good to see him here on a Monday. I love the fact that he's so, available. So available, and he's so open to everybody. Ganel says, don't suck our blood, we'll give you a pandemic. It's true. Why would he want to, why would he want to mingle with humans, for God's sakes? The bat should become a vegetarian. I think that was probably, one of the points that I wanted to bring up with him. But he really just, he flew right out of here after he introduced me, because he's got, lots of work out there. So it's great being here in the Trash Panda Comedy Club. It's good to see all you people out there. We had a show the other night, Saturday night, with Linda Lovin. Some of you were there. So good to see you all there. But today we're talking about vegetarianism. So I was a vegetarian for 10 years, I think. 10 years, all of the 90s. And how did I become a vegetarian? I became a vegetarian because I was living in Chicago, which is the last place you want to be a vegetarian, because it was like the meat packing capital of the world. And I had moved there. And I remember moving there and realizing this place is not like where I'm from. Seattle because I knew immediately because I was like, I want to get a cup of coffee. And they were like, well, it's afternoon. Why would you want a cup of coffee in the afternoon? And then I said, well, I just want it in a cup just that I could walk around with it. And they were like, like a paper cup, like a to-go cup? And I was like, yeah. And they said, no, coffee comes in a little porcelain cup that sits in a saucer. And you could maybe go to a diner and get it if you want. So I was like, what am I going to do here in Chicago? What the hell am I doing here? Why am I here? And I just started trying to be like the Chicago people. I wore like a long coat, and it was, super cold. I wore a scarf. And I ate hot dogs because for some reason in Chicago, hot dogs are like the coffee of Seattle. This is an example of what they call a hot dog, which is, it's very specific. It's like a Vienna hot dog or some company that makes hot dogs that, I don't know, maybe they got pictures of everybody, and so everybody has to eat those hot dogs. And they have to be this specific way where they put a tomato on it, they put onions, they put a pepper on there. They have to eat it, and they put mustard on there, but it has to be eaten that way. There's really no, and they have it everywhere. Every single corner has a hot dog place, and there's like hot dog places across from hot dog places, and hot dog places in hot dog places, and then there's hot dog places on top of that. So I started eating hot dogs, just trying to fit in. I was eating a lot of hot dogs, and people are like, don't eat hot dogs because they got all kinds of crap in them. They're so gross. Don't tell the people in Chicago that because, there are probably some people going to watch this today, and they're going to be like, I think that's like a mob thing there because they're so, it's like in Seattle. I mean, we're forced, people don't know this, but, when you live in Seattle, you're forced to drink coffee because otherwise, you end up missing. That's why so many people drink coffee in Seattle, because it's actually, it's a mob thing. So in Chicago, I just ate hot dog after hot dog after hot dog, and I was doing okay with it, and I was living, and I was like in my 20s, so I wasn't going to die of a hot dog heart attack. But one day I was working at the Hard Rock Cafe, and there was another guy there, and I don't know, we got cut that day, couldn't work, and he said, hey, my girlfriend is, she's got box seats with her business at the Cubs game, Wrigley Field. And so I'm like, great, I'm going to go there. So I went there, and I'd never been to box seats at any kind of a game. And in Chicago, it was weird because they had the baseball games were like in the middle of the day because Wrigley Field had no lights. They'd like brag about it, no lights. So that means that people go, from work, instead of going to work, they go to the baseball game. It's totally condoned, I guess, to go to a baseball game in the middle of the day. It's like their golf or something. They do business there. I don't know what they do. But I went there. I was not doing business. And I was in this, it's like a hotel room, and there's all these people mingling around, and me and my friend were completely out of place. So we just sat down and watched the game, and this guy just brought over a hot dog and said, hey, you want a hot dog? And I was like, yeah. And I ate it. And I was a young, actor in my 20s, and actors just eat whatever you give them. They eat whatever. I had an old-style beer. Definitely had that. Had a lot of old-style beers, as you can imagine. I was totally hammered off my ass because they kept giving me free stuff. And, I remember one of my teachers in drama school, he said he was at an award ceremony. He was about to accept this big award, and they called out his name, and everybody turned around, and there he was at the buffet stuffing a cheese wheel down his pants. That's the way actors are about food. You lose your mind when there's free food. Just completely lose your mind. So I lost my mind. I ate hot dog after hot dog after, drank old-style beer, like they were going out of style. And I got so sick. I seriously ate maybe 10, 12 hot dogs. And that does, you've seen the people like in those hot dog eating contests. Whenever I see that, I just hurl. Actors don't get fed regularly for multiple reasons, and I think you can ask Boney about that because he has that same problem. Is that a wheel of cheese, or are you just happy to see me? Exactly. So there he was. He had to just go up there, and he has this huge wheel of cheese. Yeah, there's Boney. So and then after that, I was like, I don't think I can eat hot dogs ever again. And then I read this book, which is this book. It's called Fit for Life by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. I don't know if you've ever read any of these, but this is probably the first real diet thing that I read, even though these books say it's not a diet, it's an eating lifestyle. So this Harvey and Marilyn Diamond, they wrote this book. I don't know if you guys read this, but it is a book where they say, hey, you can't combine foods. You can't take carbohydrates and proteins and you put them together and your body just cannot digest it, and it just rots in there and then you get fat and it's horrible. And they said you got to eat either carbohydrates or proteins. They're always making shit up about how you should eat. Doesn't somebody know by now how you should eat? Isn't there somebody out there that knows? It's just book after book after book. Kamala's eating lifestyle is a disaster, even with all the books that are out there. I mean, the food pressure is just crazy. Turns out, not eating is the best thing. Best food, no food. That's what some crazy cult leader used to say. Best food, no food. Yeah. But I think it's true. But you can't sell no food. So instead, they sell all these different things. So the Diamonds, they taught me how to eat. And you know what they said? You know what? Since you can't combine foods like proteins or carbohydrates, you can't put them together, why don't you just stop eating meat? Because that's the easiest way. So I concurred. I was like, okay, I'm going to stop eating meat. So I stopped eating meat completely, did not eat meat for 10 years, because that's the kind of person I am. You tell me to not eat meat, I will not eat meat. I think I ate one other hot dog that entire time, and I was at a party. And the buffet was there, and I was an actor. I was like, I got to eat it. And I just grabbed something in the dark, shoved it in my face, and it was a hot dog. And I was just, I was like, I got to get it out of my mouth. And when you're a vegetarian, especially back then, now it's, I'm always ahead of my time. So I was a little bit ahead of my time. People were like, what, are you crazy? And back then, I was serious about this not eating meat thing. I got really serious about it, so I would not eat anything that had meat products in it. And back then, everything had meat products in it. You eat a cookie, and it had lard in it. Lard was a big deal. I don't know if it's such a big deal anymore, but it used to be. Lard was, people are like, I would really like a nice vat of Crisco with this. Everybody was eating lard. We were just larding it up. So I'd look at, somebody would be like, hey, you want a cookie? And I'd look at the package. I'd be like, has lard in it. And then people got pissed. Todd's making meatballs. I hope they're lard balls. So I, couldn't eat anything. So what did I do? I just ate junk. You'd think I'd be just eating lettuce. But no, I would find the cookies that don't have lard in them, and I would just chow those down. I'd find the Cheetos that didn't have lard in them. And, everybody gets pissed. Everybody gets mad at you when you're a vegetarian. They used to, at least. I remember I went home for Thanksgiving, and my mom, who's a wonderful person, she was like, you're ruining it for everybody. I said, I'm just not going to eat the turkey. I'm just going to eat everything else. As long as it doesn't have lard in it, I'm going to eat the other things. And she was like, oh, man, you're making everybody feel bad. Because people take it as an offense. And I didn't even take it. Now I would go, hey, someday we're going to go, oh, shit, that was horrible how we ate all the animals. Someday we're going to look at it and be, that's horrible. Or someday the animals will have implants, computer implants. They'll be able to talk, and they'll be like, hey, I remember you guys were eating us. Quite frequently keeping us in cages and just chowing us down like we were, food. I know what you're saying. You're saying animals eat one another. Now the villains are the vegans. Yeah, the more you have to go more extreme, I guess. I tried to be a vegan. That was impossible. It was impossible. So I was just being a vegetarian. And people would always do this. They'd go, well, you have leather shoes. And that, it was like they're, pointing out something that you never thought of before. And I'd just be like, well, I don't, I make sure that I don't eat my shoes. I don't know. These are good comments that y'all are making because so I'm thinking, well, maybe I should become a vegetarian again, not for the original reason. The original reason was because I thought I was going to die from eating 12 hot dogs. But now my reason is maybe we don't need it. Maybe we don't need to eat animals, and maybe it's bad for the environment. Maybe it's for, if animals weren't meant to be eaten, they'd tell us to stop. I see. On that note, I think that we're going to have to do our dance break. Thanks for joining me in the Trash Panda Comedy Club. Thanks to the Bat for hosting a good majority of the show today. And thanks to pangolins for putting up with us. I hope that you survive. I hope that, maybe some people learn that, hey, pangolins probably they don't need to tell us to stop. I'm telling you, stop eating pangolins. Or maybe we don't need to know it because we're like, hey, we ate a bunch of pangolins and now look at us. We can't even stand within 6 feet of one another. It's been 34 years since I ate an animal. Congratulations, Mulva. How is it? Is it good? Applause. Thank you. Thank you, Jose. Thanks, everybody, for being here. This is a typical weird-ass journey. Love the animals. I love the doggos and cats. That's the one other thing that people point out. It's like, why do we not eat the cats and dogs, but we eat the chickens and cows? Like, who decides that? I need to have like a continuous laugh track through the entire thing, because it'll make us all feel better. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to the dance break. It doesn't require a laugh track. I've got this, couple of people. Like I say, you find these people out here that are super talented, and you go, hey, let's get them on the show. So I emailed them, and I said, hey, I really do. Humans do eat cats and dogs, it's true. But I bet you the humans that eat cats and dogs also have pet cats and dogs, or they might have pet something else. Maybe they've chosen other animals to eat. I don't know. Because animals make great companions, and who could live a life without a companion animal? Cats eat humans too. Pretty awesome. Yeah, I hear if you die, well, this is very morbid, but if you die and your cats, are stuck in the house with you while your dead body is there, they'll start eating your eyeballs. So anyway, let's leave on that. Dance break, these super cool people, they're just playing a Supertramp song, and I know that Todd Lee is a big fan of Supertramp. So I'm playing this for him. Dingoes do eat your baby. They will. They'll totally eat your baby. I could tell more gruesome stories about animals eating humans and people eating hot dogs. Good one, Todd. That was a good one. All right, dance break time. Fuller C. Yeah, Fuller C. Here they are. Singing some Supertramp. Long way home.
Give a little bit of your love to me.
That sounds like a, I don't know, play?
Give
blog
a little
post?
bit. Give a little bit of my love.
Who doesn't like this? Everybody likes Supertramp. Let's face it.
There's so much that we need to share. So send a smile and show you care. I'll give a little bit.
I emailed these
Give
people.
a
I was
little
like, can I play this
bit
on
of my
the
life
show? And
for
they were
you.
like, go for it. I like those kind of people.
So give a little bit. Give a little bit of your time.
Nice of you, Todd. Appreciate that.
See the man with the lonely eyes. Oh, take his hand, you'll be surprised.
So lucky to have these people performing this
take
wacky show about pangolins. That way you just go away with a great feeling. You don't go away with the feeling of like, oh,
come along.
what did I just do? I just listened to somebody talk about pangolins and then hot dogs. All animals will eat something we consider odd. Us humans are a delicacy for some animals. We are. We're a delicacy. A garbage delicacy. I hear that when I was in Alaska, the bears would climb in the garbage and eat the food.
Give a little bit.
Are they going to eat us?
Give a little bit of my life for
Disgusting.
you.
All the crap we put in our body. I don't even want to eat us.
Now's the time that we need to share. So find yourself. We're on
So
our
thanks to the
way
Fuller C
back
for letting us play this song. Setting us off
home. We're going home.
on our merry way on a Monday.
Don't you need,
And I'll see you
don't
tomorrow.
need to
We're
feel
going to
at
talk
home?
about some jetpacks.
Oh
We're
yeah, we
investigating
gotta
jetpacks,
see.
animatronic gorillas. So I know you know the gorilla.
You gotta get a feeling. Ooh, you come along soon.
You want me to ask you? Yeah.
You can come along
I will.
too. Yeah.
Right now. We'll find out. All right. See you all tomorrow
Come on,
on Lunch
come on
Therapy.
now.